Good morning. I nearly said good afternoon then. My name is Kirsty Dignam and I'm here to look at the energies for today's Monday's Musings, which is on the 31st of July. Now, the reason I add the date is there's a real importance this week to know where we are. There's a real temptation to get caught up in a mass download of information and potential. I started this video originally stating that it was the day before Lammas, the day before the first of two supermoons in August, you know, the month of the Lionsgate portal, and so much potential there as we head into the month of harvest, or at least the first harvest. And the more I got caught up in the amount of times I said the day before, the more I kind of lost grip of the now. And that feels really, really poignant, to be very aware of everything that's going on. But we are coming into the full moon in Aquarius to be very aware of the mental energy that's going on and the impact that that can have, not only on us emotionally, but the subsequent story that we tell ourselves and others and create as a result. Because obviously Aquarius, I say obviously, Aquarius is the star card in the tarot and also the Fool. So ultimately, in this present moment, we are being given a great opportunity to see the vision that we're building and take it from there. As I re-recorded this, my eyes were really drawn to two books, Overcoming Low Self-Esteem by, I think it's Melanie Fennell, and Feeling Safe by William Bloom. Now, my eyes were really drawn to those books because it was very much here. Right next to it is The Power of Now and Mindfulness, very much related to this human knee-jerk reaction of getting out of the moment, trying to figure out what's coming. From a place of feeling uncertain with where we are, and all that does, you know, I do work with the tarot and I do look into potential and I do look at steps that you can take in an empowering way to achieve what it is you're trying to achieve, with the emphasis being based on where you are now and everything being a reflection of that. Because when we jump too far ahead, when we try and figure out everything, which there is as we go into Virgo season, a real emphasis of that obsessiveness, of that over analytical side to us that comes from a place of low self-esteem, that comes from a place of low trust, that comes from a place of being hurt, right? Of not feeling safe. This week, if we find ourselves jumping ahead, pausing, breathing, why do I feel uncertain here? What is not great about being here? How is that impacting how I view my own safety and as a result my own esteem? My own capability of being here now and the mindfulness that that can bring. This week I've been really thinking about how my body, as we go into the more autumn winter months, is already reacting and wanting a more sustainable, more fulfilling wintry period. Okay, so real deep connections, deep rooted changes, sustainability, something that's going to feed my soul, which has aged a year since I last saw you, having had a birthday. Now, the reason I share that is because that birthday meant I'd been on this plane this time round for 44 years, which takes me into the 8 vibration, which is the same as what collectively we will be going into from January onwards. I felt like I'd arrived. I felt like I woke up that morning just like I finally reached 44, and it was totally unexpected. I hadn't any inkling into that going to happen. I hadn't any lead up to that, but the moment I woke up, it's like my body had arrived. It celebrated the 44th year. It celebrated that vibration, the vibration of mastery, the vibration of connecting to our own divinity. Now, that I don't mean from a hoo-hoo out there perspective. The cards that I'm drawn to use today, having been undecided between the Rider-Waite, the original energy, or what we know as one of the original tarot cards, obviously there were way more before that, the Vision Quest, an energy, a shamanic energy I feel comfortable with. being very undecided between these images, what I've actually chosen is the Light Seers Tarot. Now, the reason I've chosen the Light Seers Tarot is always the imagery on there are very human, very applicable, very relatable. And this week it really feels like it's an opportunity to feel into our body, to arrive into the energy that we're in. Yes, Aquarius is an air sign, but it's also the water bearer, right? So it's also about really looking at emotionally where we're at, what we're willing to take forward. I know it's a full moon and there can be the enticement of a full moon to put in new seeds and to bring in new energy, and it always depends on where you are in your life. It always depends on what's occurring for you. We are, however, in the point of harvest, and we are in the point of harvest of one of two, because we have the second harvest obviously when we have the equinoxes and the festivals and the turning of the wheel. When we are in harvest, what we are doing is cutting down. We are sorting, literally, metaphorically, physically, the wheat from the chaff. Yeah, we are tending to the land. We are really going into our body and feeling what it needs in order to keep fertile, in order to keep reproducing in a healthy, sustainable, loving, gentle manner. Because we are going, especially in the UK, into the more fall, winter months. And, you know, whether it's the UK or not, when one season ends, before the next one begins, obviously we allow that to end. And that feels like a beautiful time to really look at what we've culminated. Really look at the growth that has occurred inside and acknowledge that before we plant anything new. Acknowledge actually where we're at in the power, as Eckhart Tolle says, of now. Okay, so with that in mind, I'm not going to complicate things. There's a real temptation to seek out more information, and by goodness, there's a lot of it out there at the moment. Even to myself, I'm going to hopefully write a blog for tomorrow's full moon, and I had the information about a week or so ago, and so much has been happening, I've been distracted. Do I write about this? Do I write about that? And actually I've come full circle, and I'm going to sit down and write what I was asked to write. That original vision. So what seems like lifetimes ago now, well, it was over a year ago for me vibrationally. But yes, just really realising that if we can sort out the wheat from the chaff, not to be surprised if we return to a dream, a hope, a vision, a story that we've always written, that we've always wanted. Okay, and being aware of that as well with the narrative that we're currently using. So I don't want to complicate this video by adding too much of my own stuff, and that I would really recommend we all take on board next week, definitely over the full moon. Does feel like things are going to shift once that's occurred, almost like a birth. It does feel like things are going to shift, and yes, there's a lot going on with retrogrades and portals, and it can all become a bit too much. We can want it to become a bit too much. What I would suggest is, why are we avoiding being present? Why don't we feel safe enough to be in the here and now? What are we going to do about it? So on that note, I'm going to look into the energies this week and how to best navigate it. What you do with it will be entirely up to you. Okay. I'm just being drawn to look at her. Mrs. Hinch is a book I've never read, but I've got a book called Mrs. Hinch, Hinch Yourself Happy, and I think that's all about cleaning and organisation, and there is an emphasis on that as we definitely go into Virgo season. But with all these energies, when it all gets a bit much, what steps can we put into place to start to build some structure? One of the first things I noticed today when I began this video is that I'm leaving the door open. I'm leaving the door open between myself and my dog so that he can come and go freely. That's very important to me, that animal nature can flow. I'm also leaving it open so that I can hear when the door knocks, because I'm returning certain objects that I've bought for my husband for his birthday that aren't up to par, that aren't worth the investment that I've put into them. And yeah, I'm standing there saying, no, I'm actually going to return this, which really feels quite poignant this week. If you need more, if you require more, don't settle for what you don't want. Don't settle for something that doesn't return the investment that you've put in. your light. Yeah, we have the sun at the bottom of the pack. So leaving the door open to your own light by just allowing what isn't of it to flow and move and go, be returned. Okay, so energies this week, please, and how to best navigate it. I feel like I want to keep my cards close to my chest this week, just to hold them sacredly, have time with what is being revealed to us, knowing it is being revealed to us. One of the knee-jerk reactions when we get insight can be to share it from a beautiful infatuation, love space. But obviously, if you don't feel you can share something without other people's projections, I would recommend you don't this week, because it can actually destroy something before it's even budded. Yeah, 10 of Wands, it can make it feel a little bit too much when we start carrying other people's opinions and judgments of things. So I've noticed that with the full moon, really wanting to write something that was quite simple and beautiful and fun and lovely, and then I started to look for other views of what is going on out there, and it became quite confusing and a bit too much, and hence the blog hasn't been written. I'm hoping it will be. If it hasn't, then it is because I've taken on too much of other things, you know. It's all got a bit too overloaded and I haven't got the time to do that. So really conserving the energy this week and putting that into the sacred creations that we are making, holding them safe, tending to them, nurturing them, feeding the seeds from ourselves, not from other people, because it may have a detrimental effect depending on who you seek guidance, support, empowerment from. Okay, energies this week, how to best navigate it. Yeah, 6 of Pentacles on the bottom of the pack. Okay, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, overall. So I'm going to move these up a little bit, which feels really quite relevant, to move the energy up a little bit, to lift the energy up a little bit. Now, I don't mean to bypass it. What I mean is to use it to transform where we actually are in any current situation. To look at what we're willing to receive, what we're willing to give, how open we are to our own flow, to our own light, to our own vision, to our own energy, to our own skills, how embodied they are in our own path. Okay. Overall, we have the 6 of Pentacles here, and we do have that energy, and underneath we have the Page of Cups, and I'm going to show that one and the Page of Swords. I'm going to show these both because this is the Aquarius full moon here. Yeah, so it's the air sign, but it's also very emotional. And I know, yes, that is the Pisces sign, the Page of Cups, but the second moon that we have, the second full moon in August that we have, is in Pisces. So we have the Aquarian full moon here and the Pisces full moon here. Now, the reason I say these cards are those energies, because at the moment it's a potential. At the moment it hasn't got here, and when something is a potential, it is young in energy. Okay, it's up to us to nurture that. It's up to us to have our feet in the ground, but also to be open to that imagination, to hold space for all these different ideas. Yeah, and look at how they're impacting the story in front of us. Yeah, how much balance they're actually giving us in our mindset. Are we able to walk that knife's edge between where we are and the potential? Or does it leave us ungrounded? Does it leave us with awe of our connection to our own divinity, or does it leave us feeling a bit spaced out? Okay, so really looking at that in regards to our own physical balance. We can say that we're giving this and we're not getting that back, or we're getting that back but we're not willing to give this. But actually, ultimately, boundaries start with the self. You know, they're based on where you're at. So recognizing where you are at this week and how in harmony you are with what you are receiving, what you are giving yourself. That's going to be a pivotal moment in regards to how grounded you can be with any ideas or insights that are coming through from the full moon in Aquarius right up until the full moon in Pisces. So it's that yin yang almost energy. It's that giving and receiving energy. It's that mental, emotional energy, working with it physically as one. So being very aware of what comes up tomorrow with the full moon, knowing that it will come into full culmination by the Pisces full moon a month later. Well, 4 weeks later, because they're both in August. So the energies overall, of course, we have the Hierophant, we have the Keeper of the Sacred on this card. And that is what we're being asked to see, that we are the keys. Yeah, we are the keys to our own teachings, our own lessons. We are the keys to what it is we now bring in. If we have discovered something, if we have really experienced something and learnt it from the level that we are willing to learn it from, we hold the key to move on. Okay, so it's really about seeing the sacredness of that. Rites of passage, transition, taking the full moon to celebrate. It is a time of harvest. I was really clinging to that card then. It really clinging to the lessons, right? It's a time of harvest. What are we grateful for? Yeah, what are we no longer requiring to take forward? You know, there's a real thing at the moment called toxic gratitude, and it's something I've been quite aware of for a long time. When we cover something over, when we're not actually 100% happy with how things are, but we are grateful for X, Y, and Z. Now, I'm not saying don't be grateful, and I'm not saying a positive mindset doesn't help. However, is it helping, or is it taking us out of the here and now? Is it covering up the situation that we are actually in? Is it true? Is it authentic? Is it sacred? Is it going to help you ascend where you are? Is it going to help you change things? Or is it keeping you in the same cycle, the same story? And recognizing that it is down to us to leave those doors open. It is down to us to find the keys that we need to keep moving. Okay, so the universe doesn't know the difference. Well, say it doesn't know the difference. It goes beyond the difference of good and bad. So we can say, oh, I really don't like my job, but I'm grateful for the money. So you're grateful for the money. Yeah. Really fine tuning it on the full moon and Tuesday. And there's a little bit of confusion there. So if there are times when you're not certain what to ask for, or you think, oh, I don't really want to bring in that lesson again, what growth has occurred within you? If you can recognize where you are as the teacher of your own lessons, you will know what you need to bring forth as a result. Okay, and where you are in your own process there. And don't panic, because the energies this week are going to show you how. As always, right? The energies this week are going to show you how. So on the Tuesday, on the full moon, there were two cards I wanted to put together. I didn't, but I'm still very drawn to the fact that they wanted to go together initially, and that is the Devil card and the Two of Cups. And ironically, that will be the card that I'm journeying with. I'm doing a journey again with the tarot. Today I'm on Temperance, tomorrow I will be on the Devil card. At least that's the rough structure, which is key. It's a rough structure, right? You know, these energies, they're all a rough structure. They're guidelines. This is guidelines, this video included. What you do with that is up to you. And that's the important message on the Tuesday with the full moon, with the water bearer, with the Devil and the Two of Cups wanting to go together, to recognize I'm on the Devil card and it's actually being reflected back to me. To recognize the Two of Cups, what we are seeing is a reflection of where we are. Now, let's bring it back to the Monday. Let's bring it back to now. I'm watching this video and hearing someone say, well, everything you're experiencing is a reflection of where you are. And let's feel into that Nine of Wands. How dare she? How dare anyone say this is what I wanted? How dare anyone say this is a reflection of where I am? Anything that causes a reaction in you this week, look at, feel. See it for the light, the guiding light that it is trying to become. Now, I'm not suggesting you take on my views or anyone else's views of yourself. You are your own leader, rightfully and empoweringly so. However, keeping that little fence up, acknowledging that what you do with the information is down to you and that you know yourself best, but know yourself. If you feel something, feel it. What is this about? Why is this person that I've never met causing a reaction within me? Why is this on the news making me feel unsettled? You know, why has the weather made my mind go the way that it has? Really, really acknowledging, go deep or not, as the case may be. Yeah, but on the Monday, recognizing that the level at which you are willing to understand yourself will help you not defend who you are, but stand in your own truth. Okay? Because that's the ultimate lesson of the Devil, right? Looking at where we are holding ourselves back. taking that invitation to look deeper within ourselves so we can find our true light and the authentic version of who we are. My left ear is ringing, hang on. I've been drawn to the book This Is Going to Hurt, okay, by Adam Kay. And sometimes it's really uncomfortable. As we unshackle who we thought we were, you know, it can be really, really uncomfortable. And it is about finding a way. I wanted to put the Two of Cups then back with the card, but it is about finding a way to unite with yourself, recognizing that anything that comes up is to show you who you are and to help you love who you are on that version of who you are. Who you are, who you are, who you are. How many times can I say who you are? Who are you? On the Tuesday, anything that comes up, remember that's what it's asking. Who are you? I really feel that in my chest. I really feel a shift that wants to occur on the Tuesday. Whether it will or not, it may be the process of the whole week. So really tuning into that energy of the moon. Really tuning into our emotions and knowing that things will shift as and when they're ready to shift. Taking that time, honouring it, having patience with that. It could take up until the portal, the 8-8 portal, the Lion's Gate, but either way it's going to start building. And it is in relation to our heart, and it is in relation to, you know, yes, we do have Venus retrograde in Leo, we do have the 8-8 portal, obviously, which is the Lion's Gate, which is Leo. It is all in relation to next year when we step into that energy, but it's always been about mastery. It's always been about knowing thyself. It's always been about embracing our light. My whole screen's just like really lit up. It's always been about that, okay? And that is an ongoing journey. That's an ongoing process. And sometimes when we realise that, we can just let go of the shackles and expectations we've put on ourselves. That we need to be perfect, or oh gosh, we're doing this again, or we can be a little bit more gentle and allow that heart to open at a pace that it is ready to do so. A lot of the times we can feel unsafe with ourselves because we're push, and we have these judgments and these expectations. Some of them aren't ours, you know, and our body reacts to our story, our narrative, and that can really affect our self-esteem. So just being present with what is going on is going to be key, because on the Wednesday, that's where we have those Two of Cups, where we look at the relationships in our life, that start with our own, that start with ourselves, how united we are inside with our own. Well, it is process, and that's all I can think this week. It is process, the process of knowing who you are. That is the biggest key this week, and it is time to really merge with that, to really merge with the vision that we have for ourselves, to really look at where we are questioning that, where we are doubting that, where we are forcing that, where we are judging that, and the impact that that is having on our relationship with ourselves, with others, with our very place here on the earth, and how we see the vision that we're trying to deliver, that we're trying to create. Ultimately, how we see ourselves. So we can want to bring something in, and if we're seeing ourselves in a completely different version of what it is we need to bring that in, that's going to keep knocking our self-esteem. And come the Thursday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, that is what we're being asked to look at, to step into the spotlight, to really open ourselves up to who we are, to really truly see ourselves from where we are. So what would that would be? First, second, third. Okay, so we're not at the Lion's Gate yet, but the third is going to be a real indicator to what that energy is going to be about. Okay, so really opening ourselves up to that light that is being reflected back to us. Because on the Friday we have the Star card. So even though the full moon is in Aquarius on the Tuesday, it feels like it doesn't settle down until the Friday. It's a big one, right? It's a big one. Come the Friday, things start to not calm down. They change. They shift. They take on a higher vibration. We change, shift, and take on a higher vibration. Once we've looked at where we're defending or where we're defensive or where we may need to stand in who we are, and the difference between defensiveness and authenticity is going to be key this week. Where we have perhaps kept our light small, where we perhaps don't want to look at our own light, how connected we are to ourselves and our vision, and really, really turning the mirror on ourselves and the spotlight on to who we are. By the time we do that, come Friday, we change. Yeah, you change, the energy changes as a result, the vision changes also. So being really open to that, we can think, this is what I want, this is what I've always wanted. And then when we realize, actually, this is as good as it gets. This is what I wanted on the level that I was capable of having. So an example, I always wanted to live in the country, have my own home, blah, blah, blah. I live in the country. It's not my own home. I am running workshops from the country. I am doing what I wanted to do. I've reached that pinnacle of that. Come this full moon, I will culminate that and then be open to the next stage, which may not be about the country anymore. So come Friday, we really realize where we're at. We really realize the journeys that we've had. We really realize how connected we are to our own vision and where that vision now is, because we have the star card. Okay, so allowing everything from the Tuesday onwards to really flow and build that momentum. You may find that the vision is bigger than you realized. Yeah, you may find, even though this thing, this story, this dream that you've been after feels monumental, what's beneath it, what's behind it all, you may recognize that actually the vision you've been trying to achieve is a mere step towards a bigger picture and a bigger picture and a bigger picture and a bigger picture. And that can put the brakes on, right? That can make us almost go back to the whole week again, like that defensiveness of the Monday. I can't do that. The shackles, I'd rather just, I'm happy with where I am. The you know, these relationships, including the one with myself, can stay as it is. You know, I'm good, thanks. And like, you start stepping back out of the spotlight, and there's no judgment there. It's all part of the process. What people fail to realize a lot of the times with the star card, when we see that vision of our potential, it can be fucking daunting. Yeah, especially based on where we are. And that can really knock our self-esteem. When we stand in the power of who we are, the power of this moment, it can be incredibly intimidating to recognize our greatness, our light, the vision that has been held for us. We don't have to achieve that. We are achieving that in every moment. We are always part of that in every step that we take. It's just when we jump forward, when we see the huge picture, there's a great humility in how small we can feel. There's a great humility in what is being asked of us. Yeah, we can, an example, we can ask to lose weight or to improve our health. And that may take us down a whole journey of alternative medicines and self-discovery. And we may find ourselves in, I don't know, Bali or India or somewhere studying yoga all of a sudden. And all we wanted to do was become a bit healthy. And now we're becoming a yoga teacher. So really being open to that potential this week, not playing the vision small, because we may feel not ready. Trusting the process, recognizing our role in the far bigger story that is occurring. Okay, because on the Saturday we do have two cards together. Come the weekend, it's very much to do with our actions. Come the weekend, it's very much to do with the masculine, because they're all masculine cards. Very much to do with the yang energy and how we perceive the yang energy. Because ironically for me, Saturday is the first time since my birthday that I'm actually going to have time out. Yeah, gonna have a massage, going to go to a yoga, a blissful Sunday yoga thing, because I need it. I need the medicine I gift others. And Saturday, that's what we're going to realise, that actually all of this growth, we have the Seven of Pentacles, all of this growth, all of this healing, you can see the light coming from his hands. It's the healing of connecting to our own divinity and recognising everything we offer is what we actually need. So if we're going to hold that back, we're not going to fulfil our needs. And the growth that can come from that healing, that connection to a flow that is abundant, that can cause expansion, is really going to be the whole ethos of the following week as we go into the Lion's Gate. Yeah, we have the King of Wands there, that Christ consciousness energy as well, that real, not even stepping up, stepping in, stepping in and up. Okay, so spiritually we have this, or at least I see a real drive to almost leave the body and transcend the body. No, this weekend what we're being asked to do is go within the body and take that information up. Go within. What am I feeling? What do I need help with? Hand it over. Wait for the response, knowing that unique connection here is what actually grounds us. It's our body and its ability to receive the messages that actually causes the growth that we can tangibly, physically hold in our hands. Okay. On the Sunday, we have the Emperor. We do have a game changer. Come the Sunday, we do have that recognition that we are not the pawns in a game out of our control, that we are actually in charge of the moves that we make, that we are actually, our actions, speak volumes come the Sunday. And to be really grounded in that. We have Chiron, I do believe, in Aries going retrograde. To be really grounded in the healing that has occurred in our home, in how we present ourselves to the world, in who we are. Yeah, come the Sunday. Okay, so let's bring that all together. We have 1, 2, and it feels like if we can bring it all together, things will become not easier, because that's a assumption that they were too difficult. Okay, it's not that they become easier, they become more structured. It's not structured, what is it? It's light. They become more light, because if we can look at the sacredness behind the lessons, this is the only Hierophant card that I've ever seen where he's laughing. He's just laughing. If we can lighten ourselves up a little bit this week, and that's going to be interesting, because the energies do have the potential to challenge us, but what they're challenging us to do is to find the light that we are within every situation. Okay, so however you can work your vibration, work your frequency, do your thing, however you can do that this week is going to be the flow that you need. It's not going to make it easier, it's going to make it more you. What can you do to make it more you? How can you embrace the lessons for the sacredness that they are? How can you invite in the freedom that it is you are looking for? How can you hold on to the vision against all odds? How can you change the game? That's what the universe is asking us this week, okay? Because what it wants us to see is that we are the sacred lesson and the teacher and the student, that we are the light and the dark that shows the light, that we are the vision and the actions that are going to put that into place, that we are the water bearer, we are the fool, we are the potential, we are all of it. We are the one that can shift this. We are the ones that can change the game. There are 4 major arcana there. We are beautifully supported in the structure of our own connection with the universe this week. Okay, so we then have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 minor arcanas. Now, when I go minor, I'm doing that because it's like, whoa, hang on a minute. There's a real, oh no, I'm just a minor. I'm just a child. I feel like I'm just figuring these things out. I'm only just learning about myself. Of course, always. Is that not the fun of it? If we can, instead of go, oh, I'm a minor. Oh, I can't believe I'm doing this again. Oh, I'm being so immature, so young, so I should know better. If we can just stop doing that for ourselves and for each other, we can embrace the other side of Aquarius, which is the Fool. Yeah, I'm continually learning, doing so with curiosity. This is the first time that I've been here in this situation. In the big scheme of things, yes, I may feel small, but I'm also still part of the big scheme of things. Okay, Really looking at our own growth physically this week is going to be key. Knowing all the steps that we have put in place before we start thinking about new routines or new structures. What have we actually got at the moment? It may be enough. Not causing more endurance than needed. Not pulling up those seeds before they are ready to be harvested. Okay, so planting some intentions or recognizing that what you have at the moment is based on what you've planted and allowing them to grow and blossom and be what they are. And for some, they're ready to cut. For some, they're ready to feed from, their job has been done. And for others, there's more growth there. Recognizing the healing that we are all at different stages. Even within ourselves. You know, we may be really great physically with our routine, but actually we spiritually could do with a bit more meditation or a bit more nature or We're going to be at different levels in different parts of our lives, and just really looking at where we may need to restore balance there and harmony, because that's the key of all healing. That's the key of all growth. Okay? So we have one physical card, one pentacle card. We then have one cup card, which is the Two of Cups. A beautiful opportunity to really connect deeply to our emotions, to each other, to ourselves, to source, to our spirituality, and to the beautifulness, the beautifulness, the beauty of the humanness, the many colours that we all are, rather than pulling away from that, rather than wanting everything to be the same, ourselves included. How often do we compare? I wish I was like so and so. I do it all the time. This week is a great opportunity to figure out, as you figure out, who you are, you will figure out what it is you bring, and you will figure out why that's not enough for yourself, as you slowly open up and embrace that within you. It is the two, so it's a real union here, and it is the early stages again. So recognizing that the early stages are just as important as the harvest. Yeah, the early stages are the ones that people tend to give away to someone else, or share before they're ready, or pull apart before they've even had a chance to root, whether that's a relationship. Those early stages, we start questioning where it's going, whether it's a business and all our doubts come to the forefront, you know, that routine that we're struggling to really stick with in the early stages. Recognizing that it's the early stages that give us the foundations, and acknowledging just how important they are, because then we can see wherever we are as a valid component of wherever it is we're going. Okay, the here and now, the power of that is going to be quite profound this week, because we have no sword cards, okay, which is very interesting. Even though it's a full moon in an air sign, it's not about our thoughts, and it's very, very important this week to be aware of exploring those thoughts from a more psychic level, exploring what is going on and the impact our mental narrative is having on the physical story in front of us. Because we do have 3 wand cards, and creation is going to come from the fire, the passion, the hopes, the dreams, the ability to create within us. Okay, and the spotlight is on us, and it is about how open we are to being the successful version of ourselves that we want to be, how open we are to recognizing that every stage is part of that, how open we are to standing in our own authenticity without becoming defensive, how open we are to embracing the sacred masculine within ourselves. Okay, by recognizing that everything, every action has been important. Every step has been needed. Hindsight is a powerful thing. If we look back, we can say, I could have done X, Y, and Z. If we look back, or if we look forward even, insight, I need to do blah, 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 blah. Without the present, none of it is relevant. Okay? So, really feeling into any hindsight that's coming up, any foresight that's coming up, and any inner sight now that is occurring as a result, and the impact that that is having on your actions is going to be pivotal. So we're going to have one card overall, and then we're going to call it quits for the week, as justice is at the bottom of the pack. Okay. It is about recognizing what is being reflected is for us to look at, whether we like it or not. It's not for us to look at and always take on as our own, but it is for us to look at how we respond to that, where we're responding from, what it is we need, because it's all going to be an indicator of where we're actually at. And we cannot bring in what we want until we acknowledge where we're at. Okay? Right, one card. I've got two. And again, we have the devil here. You saw me shuffle them. We have the devil here, underneath which sits the tower, the two of cups, and the emperor. Okay, so that's three cards that have come back up to be acknowledged. And underneath it all is the tower card. The change is going to come if we can look at how united we are to our shadow, to our light. Oh, the star was hidden underneath the emperor. The responsibility we have for embracing all aspects of the vision and bringing that to light, for being the caretaker and the guardian of our own potential, for seeking out what it is we need in order to deliver that, and being okay if we don't want to. Yeah, because underneath the tower, it is the Queen of Pentacles, being grounded in our own heart coherence and our own connection to our heart. And that, we do that, 8 of Wands underneath. Quick shift changes. Open your heart, guys. Be the keeper of the sacred by listening to that wonderful vessel that has everything that you need in there. And be true to that. Be true to yourself, whatever comes up this week. Have an incredible, incredible week. And I will see you in the energies of the Lionsgate. Take care.